Hey everyone, thank you for choosing to spend time out of your day to listen to today's episode. I'm your host, Zachary Aird, and let's get this playing. So today's episode, we have Steven, is it Steven D Media?
Yep.
All right, Steven D Media. And for those that you do not know in the audience, this is my cousin. So he's been the one posting everything about high school sports, weddings, even graduations, because I remember you doing my brother's. All of it. So whatever you need, you can go to Steven D Media. And yeah, quick shout out. Yep. But Steven, why are you here today? What you plan on talking about?
Yeah, so obviously this is my cousin, as he mentioned. So again, my name is Steven. I have a videography. Well, I do videography and photography. My Instagram is Steven D Media. So STEPHEN DMEDIA. Had to think about that for a little bit.
Can you spell?
No, but yeah. So I just wanted to come and support the podcast. I see you doing a lot of big things with it, and I already know it's gonna go places. So I just wanted to be one of the first guests and hop on the bandwagon. That's really it.
So before we start, thank you for coming, because he has to drive from so far, and he's always busy with all the, especially because it's tournament season now because of AAU and all that.
Yeah.
So he's been traveling, and I finally got him on the podcast. It was funny because the other day I was trying to think of how to text him and be like, how do I get him on the pod without me sounding like I need you on the pod? And you texted randomly and was like, bro, let me get on the pod. And I was like, all right then. I was like, okay. So yeah.
Well, what happened was your sister was she actually asked me, because I shot her sorority video.
Oh, okay.
And she actually was like, Steven, when are you gonna get on Zach's podcast? And I was like, you know what? Like, I need to be on that. I was like, I need to get on that podcast.
Yeah, so, I need to be on it. Okay, okay. Here, you can have everything. Yes.
Yeah, bro.
So my sister made the connection?
Yep.
Dang,
thank
you.
Hey,
yeah.
Shout out to Melinda.
No, that's Gorgie. It's Gorgie here.
Gorgie. I don't know what the public knows her as, but
yeah. So I just want to start off by saying I remember you posting a video for a scholarship. Do you remember what this video was?
Yeah, that was wow, that was a long time ago. That was the lightsaber one I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you choose red? The color red.
The Sith, bro.
Oh, he's a Sith Lord. Hey, if he's gonna come to your wedding, it's bad luck, I guess.
I'm a Sith Lord. No, it was just cool. I was just like messing around with the different colors. And so what happened actually was, I use Adobe After Effects. And for those of you who know content creation, if you use Adobe After Effects, sometimes it slows down the clip. And in this case, it slowed down my clip, which slowed down the audio. And so actually what was crazy is that the audio like went down a couple of pitches. And so it sounded like some Sith stuff. And so I was like, I can't use, like, it sounded dope. And so I was like, I can't use like good Jedi lightsaber color. Yeah. So I just threw the red one on there and just so that was. So
I want to know, did you get the scholarship or?
I didn't.
You didn't. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not gonna lie. That
cut
video
this out.
That video was kind of goofy.
Because I remember, I just remembered it, but I was scrolling the other day and I was like, let me go through his account. So I started stalking and I remember you posting that and I was like, bro, this goofy dude, like, and then your dog is in the background, like, like, what are you doing?
I think I used like a Disney lightsaber. I don't even know if it was probably like Target one or something.
It was a broom.
Yeah, a broom or something. And I literally just like, I mean, it's easy for me to talk about, but for content creators who know, I just masked out the actual like plastic lightsaber.
Yeah.
I color corrected it, but yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that.
And I actually made the connection again because when we went to your graduation last year, there was Star Wars. There was a Star Wars. Right. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But people came out with lightsabers and started fighting with each other, like as a joke. And I just thought it was cool because I connected it with, you started your content creation with that video technically, and then you graduated college with Star Wars. I don't know. It was like, I was like, that's pretty.
That was kind of goofy.
Yeah,
bro.
I was like, where am I at?
That was the
it was the
engineering nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You're up there on the stage. Okay, so with all the content creation and everything you're doing with videography, what has been your most favorite experience through it all?
Ooh, that's a good question. First of all, this is so cool to be on a podcast.
Yeah, it's insane, bro. I like that. I like your mindset, bro. 'Cause I get nervous.
Like, I'm not even just saying that, like, because you're my cousin. Like, this is cool, bro. But yeah, no, my favorite experience, man. It has to go back to like my first real experience, like my first like real, yeah, I would just say real experience shooting for sports. It actually wasn't even that long ago. It was last November, last November. So this is gonna be crazy, actually. So at the time, I wanted to take videography and photography a little bit more serious, and so what I wanted to do, especially with sports, and I hadn't really done anything crazy in sports. The one thing I did do, oh man, that might be my favorite story.
Let's hear it all.
Okay, yeah. So, man, I'll tell you both.
All right.
So, okay, so the first time I ever kind of saw myself doing sports was when I lived in Kansas. So, after I graduated from Arizona State University in December 2020, I moved to Kansas. You remember that? Obviously, I lived there for a year. Just because that was when that was where I got my first job out of college, and so I moved to Wichita, Kansas. And in Wichita, obviously, Wichita State University is the big school, the D1 school out there. And so there's, they have a pretty good basketball program. Yeah. And, sometimes they make the tournament, March Madness tournament and whatnot. So there's this one player who was playing for the Shockers at the time. That's their mascot. His name is Dexter Dennis. And he was like the guy in Wichita. Like everybody heard of Dexter Dennis. There's no other sports teams in Wichita, Kansas, except for like a AA baseball team.
Yeah.
So,
Dexter.
Yeah, bro. So it's funny because I didn't know anybody in Wichita. I knew like my coworkers at work, and like a couple people I met at the gym, like playing basketball maybe, or like lifting here and there. And so, I remember I followed him on Instagram and stuff, and before this I had actually done a little bit of work for a personal trainer out there, like an athletic trainer, and so I was doing a little bit of like work for him. I did like a couple of videos for him, so I just wanted to kind of showcase how I could do sports videography and photography, and I didn't get paid for it. It was just I wanted to make connections, and so I saw, obviously, like I said, I followed Dexter, and I saw that he posted on his story. He's like, I need a videographer and photographer. I want a little mix or something like that. And so I swiped up. Obviously, I responded saying like, hey, bro, I'm a up and coming videographer out here in Wichita. Would love to help you out. Whatever you need, just let me know. And I actually sent it to like 3 of my friends. And I was like, hey, swipe up and tell him Stephen D Media is what you, actually at the time I was Stephen D Edits. That's not really significant, but anyway. But I was like, swipe up and tell Dexter that he should work with me, and that I'm the guy to work with. And I did. I had like 3 or 4 people reached out to him and told him to work with me, and he ended up responding to me, and he's like, hey, bro, like, I see some of your work. I like your stuff. He's like, why don't you come to Wichita State? Why don't you come to our practice facility in our arena and just come shoot a little mix for me? And so that's basically what happened, bro. Like literally a week later, we set up a time for a week later, and I pulled up to Wichita State University. No one was there. It was him and I in the arena, and that was it. And like the practice facility is connected to the arena, so he lets me in the gym. And he gives me like almost like a little tour. He's super cool too. He plays for Texas A&M now. I think he's graduating this year. But he had a nasty pin block, by the way, in the tournament. I don't know if anybody would remember it, but
yeah, it's gonna get posted right here.
yeah, you gotta show it. But yeah, so he was like super cool dude, super humble. He basically, like I said, he let me in the gym, let me in the arena. He just kind of walked me around a little bit and went into the locker rooms and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of followed him around while he got a workout in. And then I just recorded him, and yeah, bro, it was pretty much it. Like he it took me obviously a few days to get the video to him and everything, but he loved the video and he posted it on his page at the time. I don't think it's on his page anymore because he transferred to Texas A&M. But,
Yeah.
but that was kind of like my first experience, like ever really shooting someone of importance, and really the first time where I've gotten experience that nobody really, like, not the average shooter doesn't really get. And so that kind of opened my eyes to like, wow, I could really see myself doing this more. And that mixtape that I made is still one of my favorite mixtapes. I think I still have it pinned actually.
No, I remember watching it because it's like when you're in the locker room. I remember seeing it one day. It was like after practice, and I saw it, and I was like, bro, where's Steven at? Like, how is he? Because usually you have to get like security to like go into the locker rooms and all that. And I was like, how is Steven recording everything?
Yeah, bro.
And I was like, oh my God, like the guy's getting a workout in. I was like, oh, this is tough. Like,
it was insane, man. Like, and it's just like, you know, it's not like an NBA player or anything. But for me at the time, it was like, wow, this is.
Yeah.
I was, you know, gonna try to hit up some little high school players here and there and try to do videos for him and to get like an actual D1 athlete. And then, like I said, he was like the star of Wichita. So you would mention Dexter Dennis, everybody knows him because there's no other sports teams, like I said. So like everybody at work, when I told them I did a video for Dexter Dennis, they're like, no way, like that's crazy.
Yeah, you did what?
Yeah. And so that was the first time, like I said, that I ever really saw myself doing like sports on a little bit of a higher level like that. And not to say that I'm, you know, on a higher level right now, but
you definitely amped up.
I definitely took it a step further. But that kind of leads me into my next story. So this is the second of the two stories that I had for you, basically. So like I said, in November, I wanted to take sports videography and photography a little bit more serious. So my plan going into the Arizona high school basketball season was just pull up to as many high school games as possible, just take a bunch of pictures, take a bunch of clips, and just tag all these players in my stories and in my posts and just try to get them to follow me. You know, I wanted to just try to make a name for myself a little bit. And so I actually ended up seeing that Arizona State University, their men's team, they had a what's called a Moonlit Madness practice.
I remember this.
So so they put it out like an announcement, and it was free general admission for the public. And so I was like, okay, I'll go, and I'll bring my camera. And they actually had it outside at the track.
Yeah, it's like on the little rubber, right? Like the court is rubber. Or they make the court.
Yeah, they make the court. They like bring the court out. They assemble it there, and it's like, it's kind of like a rubber type thing. But so it was outside on the track. So they weren't like looking at anybody going in. And I was like, originally my plan was to bring my camera and shoot from the stands and just use my content from that to make a little mix or whatever. And then, like I said, I'll try to post the stuff on my story or post any content I get and tag these players, try to get them to see it at least, and then repost it. If that would be the dream, to have them repost it. And so this is where the crazy part comes in, bro. So I bring my camera. I bring like all my gear. And I got there stupid early too. I got there like an hour and a half early because I wanted to like get a seat right in front. And I walk up and I walk past the entrance for the media, and I see like one security guard there, and he's not even paying attention. He's like on his phone, not even paying attention. Yeah. And so it's kind of interesting because there was that entrance to my right, and the entrance to the left was for the general public. And so I had like a quick choice to make. Like what went in my head was like, should I just sneak into the media real quick, or should I go into the general public? Yeah. And I was in like literally a split second. I was like, I'm just gonna try to sneak into media. And so I asked a guy. I was like, is this where media goes in? I'm just curious. And he's like, yeah, this is where media goes in. He's like, go ahead. And so I literally walk through, bro. I mean, I look legit because I have an ASU shirt on, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
you have your camera out or no?
Yeah, I made sure to have my camera out.
Yeah,
too,
okay.
I wanted to look official, and I had my bag and everything. So this guy's not going to know the difference between, you know,
yeah, he don't want to be there.
With the yeah, he's just trying to get his hourly, but
his minimum wage. Yeah.
So I walked past him. And I walk into the media area, and like I just see everybody with the camera, and nobody thinks twice about me because I have a camera too. And so I literally just like other media hasn't even got there yet. So I walk in, and I just like post up courtside basically with my camera, and I just sit there, and it's like the crowd's coming in and everything, and like it was crazy. So basically, I snuck in to this ASU Moonlit Madness, and I got to be courtside to film it all, and I ended up like recording this one player. His name is Devan Cambridge. He just transferred before last season. I think he might be in the transfer portal now, but it wasn't a game. It was basically what it was like a 3-point contest. Like it wasn't even a scrimmage. It was a dunk contest, and they just introduced like the players basically for the first time for the season. And so Devan was one of the best players on the team, and so he was in the dunk contest. And I recorded the dunk contest. Obviously, I recorded it on my phone and on the camera at the same time because what I wanted to do was like make like one of those like behind the scenes versus the shot type things. So I recorded the whole dunk contest. He ended up like doing some crazy dunks. Like he dunked over. His brother was also on the team, Desmond Cambridge. He dunked over his brother, and then he dunked over like someone on a bike and like some crazy stuff. And like I said, bro, I recorded it all, and I made like a little mix. And I remember that night too. I stayed up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had work the next day too at like 7:30. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this mix out because I want to like be one. No one else is gonna stay up till 4 in the morning on like a Wednesday night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if you wanna, it's just like something I've kind of realized. That if you want results that nobody really gets, like you have to put the work in that nobody's gonna put in. So
But, okay, so before you say anything else,
yeah,
for 2 of those events you went out and got what you wanted. You know what I mean? People nowadays, I mean I'm into this too, is that we think it's just gonna come. Like if I post this, it's just gonna come to me. But like what you're saying and what you are amplifying is that you went out and texted Dexter or DM'd Dexter and was like, hey, I'm up and coming. You don't have to trust me or not. I will do this.
Right. And then I had like 4 or 5 other people texting too. Yeah.
Like you didn't have to do that. And then with the whole ASU thing, you could have easily took the easy route and be like, I'm going to record just like everyone else on an iPhone on the side. But instead you were like, no, I want this. I want to go get it.
Right.
So you are a prime example of like, if you want it, go. It's right there.
Yeah.
And
what I thought when I was going to try to sneak past the security guard was like, the worst he could say is no, right?
Yep.
And then I'm already an hour and a half early. I'll just post up first row in the general public. But it ended up working out, and I got to be courtside, right? Like as all these players are walking past me, like Bobby Hurley, bro, like the Cambridge brothers, like, you know.
Everyone that you see on TV, you finally got to be on camera.
Like Marcus Bagley. I don't think Marcus Bagley's playing with ASU anymore, but it's just crazy, like just seeing him like walk past me.
I think Dort was on the team, right?
No, not
yet that year.
Yeah, because this was last November. So.
Oh yeah, this is recently.
Yeah, this is like super. This is not even a year ago. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? Yeah. So anyway, like I stayed up till 4 in the morning, right, making this mixtape, and I post it and everything, and I go to sleep, and I'm like, okay, if anybody sees it, you know, that'll be like a dream come true. Hopefully, someone will respond to me, being like, hey, like you should come in and record for me. And but I just kind of expected like, oh, nobody's really gonna see it because I think I had like a couple hundred followers at the time. So
you expected the worst. So
yeah, my videos I think we're getting like 10 likes. Like my mom, your mom,
our tias, our siblings,
my nana.
Great
like
video.
A million like 5 fire emojis.
Fire.
But so yeah, bro. So I went to sleep right 4:30 in the morning. I wake up and I have like a few messages, and so I check my messages, and then like it's one of them is Devan Cambridge, and he's like, bro, this is sick, like, you gotta send me this so I can repost it. And so I ended up sending it to him. He reposted it, and that's when, you know, Michael Clark, right? From AZ Finest Mixtape.
Yep.
He saw that, and he hit me up from both the AZ Finest Mixtape account and his account, and he's like, bro, like you gotta come do some work for AZ Finest. Like this is good stuff. And
with the 2 hours of sleep, did you go to work?
I did go to work. Yeah, I did go to work.
He's like, I called off. AZ Finest called.
Yeah. No. But yeah, he's like you. This is good stuff. He's like, let me get this footage of Devan Cambridge, and then he's like, if you want to start doing some work for us, I'd love to have you out. And literally, bro, it's just been like uphill from there. That's really when I started to kind of get my name out there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, shout out. I mean, I doubt Michael Clark's gonna watch this.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, shout out to him because he put me onto his brand, AZ Finest, and like I've been doing work for them for months now, and like literally every single sports client I've got was because of that opportunity, because I snuck in to ASU.
Yeah.
So
and now the security guard is fired.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he was not doing his job.
In.
Yeah, he was basically falling asleep. But yeah, those are my two like
you went out
coolest
and
experiences where I was like, yeah, like if I didn't sneak into ASU, I don't know, what I would be doing sports wise now. So I mean, I consider myself like someone like if I want something, I'm gonna try to go get it to as the best of my ability. So I mean, not to say like I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, but that just helped amplify myself much quicker than if I didn't. So, but yeah, bro, that, and like I said, it's just been uphill ever since.
With that all being said, what made you start picking up your camera? Like, what inspired you? Was it like a video? Was it someone on the internet being like, you could do this too? Who out there inspired you to just start picking up your camera?
Man, that's a good question.
Thank you.
W podcast host.
Yeah. Let me say it again.
No, I honestly, it's just my nana. She bought me a camera years ago, like a cheap camera from Costco. And when I see cheap, it's not like it was $500, which is expensive for her, And so shout out, that's the one thing about my nana. She's always like the
giving,
most supportive person.
Yep. Before you say anything, probably Nina Angie's gonna watch. But we love Nina Angie.
Yeah.
So
it's like she's always seen the potential in me when I maybe didn't see it, or she would always kind of align with my vision. I would tell her stuff, and she would be the first person to be like, yeah, you should probably like do this, and this. But anyway, I don't even remember why she bought me the camera, but she bought me this $500 camera from Costco, and I didn't even use it, bro, for like 2 years.
Yeah, some guy was selling it outside.
Yeah, I didn't even use it. And when I think I might have like took some practice shots with it, and like I said, put it in the closet for 2 years, didn't touch it. And then when I started to use it again, it was 2020 when COVID came around. Before COVID came around, I meant to say. I started doing like videos here and there from our barber, actually, because I remember getting a haircut one day, and he was talking to me about content, and he was saying like, oh, like I need someone to do content for me. I just don't know where to look. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, bro, I have this camera I don't use at all. But I ended up trading videos for haircuts from my barber for like a few weeks, basically, and that's after that was like kind of when COVID hit. But that was really when I got started with it all. It was just like I said, just doing stuff for my barber, and just the camera that my nana bought me, really.
And so do you remember, or why there was a significant reason why did you like ask for a camera, or?
I honestly, I don't remember. I think I might have mentioned like, see, the thing about my nana is like I'll mention something and she'll remember it. And so I might have mentioned to her like, oh, I used to love editing. I used to love filming back in high school when I did that class. Yeah. And so I might have told her that, and she might have seen a camera at Walmart or Costco for a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, cheaper than it is.
Yeah. And she might have been like, oh, yeah, I remember that one time when Steven told me that. And, she just went out of her way to buy it. But I know that wasn't cheap for her, though. So, but yeah, that is the reason why I started, like, shooting. So
the transition into, because you've always been in sports and you've always done like the weddings, what made you do like high school sports instead of like keeping on with like ASU or traveling down south to Tucson? Like what made you go into high school sports?
Well, so it really is just AZ Finest Mixtape. Just because AZ Finest Mixtape, they focus on high school sports. So Michael Clark, he's an NBA agent basically,
Yeah.
and so his job is to get these players like the most notable players in the Valley. Like it's his job to get them drafted. And so AZ Finest Mixtape is a platform to help with that effort basically. And so I mean I would love to shoot for ASU and for maybe U of A or whatnot, but it just happened to work out where like I was just consistently doing work for AZ Finest Mixtape. But I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, this is definitely something that I aspire to do still, is to shoot NCAA. And actually, my real goal is obviously like everybody else to make it into the pros. Like, for example, one of the photographers I take inspiration from, his name is Savage.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say Cassie Athena, or what is that one?
Oh, Cassie Athena.
Yeah,
she's a big one too that everybody knows. Yeah. She's been doing it for a long time.
yeah, she is. Since I was in high school.
Right. Yeah, her. But the reason I say Savage is because, bro, I've been following him since like 2015, 2016 when he was shooting Cardinals practices. He would sneak his camera into Suns games, and he really just grinded it out. And so, yeah, that's definitely someone like, you know, to just try to model like my hustle after. So, but yeah, my goal is definitely to make it in the NBA or, you know, at least for now, NCAA. Yeah. So it'll come, bro. It's just gonna take that hustle.
The path is. Yeah, I mean, you're already on the right step. I mean, you know.
Hopefully, man. Yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, take whatever I can grab, really, and just continue to push my platform out there. So,
because it seems like your editing style is way different from what I've seen when I was in high school. I mean, of course, it's gotten better, but like the editing style, the way you, like, I was just watching the one today. You like pause at certain points of like if someone's dropping or someone's getting moved. But the reason I say this is because there's this dude named Rick Rubin. He was a producer, and he was on a podcast I was listening to, and he starts to say, because everyone hated his producing, but he produced Kanye, Jay-Z, our dad's artists like Outkast, Tribe Called Quest, all of them. And everyone hated his style because they didn't think it was rap. So I was thinking of like, dude, Steven has a unique, because that's what all it is can someone attract to your uniqueness of what you're putting out. So I love that, like, your color grade is different. All the videos have the same color grade. Like back then.
I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if anybody notices that.
Yeah, I mean, I will, because I mean, now I'm starting to do it. But like just little things like that, or pausing when the basket's about to go in and the music drops a beat. Yeah. Simple stuff like that is what the real ones, like what you're trying to get into, are gonna notice. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, I know it's like weird hearing a little cousin spit that out.
It's very true, bro. Like I try to separate myself from the details, and actually there's a lot I could be doing a lot higher quality work, and that's one thing I'm trying to work on is like quality over quantity. And right now I'm kind of focusing on quantity over quality. So, but I know if I really just like cooled down and maybe only took on like a couple projects, I could go crazy on something. Yeah. But it's the little details that matter for sure, because I follow a lot of creators just to see, like, kind of not to compare myself, but just to kind of give myself a evaluation, like, okay, this guy has this many followers, he's done work with so and so, and I'm about as good as him. So it kind of gives me it allows me to see where I'm at, basically, like to see where my competition is, who they worked with, and just gives me an opportunity to like visualize where I can get to. So
it's crazy that you said that, because my episode that's going to be on Thursday, like I do a solo one on Thursday, and that's literally going to be comparison is the thief of the joy.
Oh yeah,
because 100%. Because throughout my whole basketball career as an athlete, you're always comparing yourself to the next person, right? Through anything. Like if I was a kid and I saw Stephen D Media posting, I'd be like, bro, I'm better than that kid. Why isn't Stephen D recording me? Right. As simple as that. Or seeing the kid make a move, I can make a better move. Like that's the thing I'm learning into, like with this podcast, like a content creator, is that like you need to, what you said, you need to take parts from other people, because that's where you can learn and grow. So like for me, I'll take stuff from just different type of podcast and, you know, put it into mine. I love the way he does color grade. I don't like the text style.
Yeah.
I don't like how he switches the cam, stuff like that. So I admire your work for doing your own thing and not copying what I saw.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, as a kid.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do take stuff.
Yeah,
I do
you're
take
supposed
stuff
to.
from other people, but like in my own way, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
And like there are some people that just have that original flow that nobody else has, and that's just that different creative brain, right? But and I don't. I mean, my stuff is. Like I said, I take from a lot of different people because I follow so many people, and so if I like something, I'm gonna look up how to do it. There's so many tutorials on YouTube, by the way. That's the reason, like, why I know how to edit is because of YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Shout out YouTube University. But,
yeah, without YouTube, it's gone.
yeah. But what was I gonna say? What were we talking? Like, what was it?
Like the YouTube comparison.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, comparison is definitely the thief of joy. Because there are a lot of times, especially, and I'm sure you relate to this. Like, you're someone that has high goals for yourself. You're someone that you probably consider yourself a high achiever, right? And so if you're not living up to some of the achievements, some of the same achievements as somebody else that you see on social media, you kind of feel a certain way about yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, dang, why haven't I done that yet? And I feel that way about myself, because it's like, dang, like if I see someone post a video with someone notable, like a famous athlete or whatever, I'll be like, dang, why haven't I got to that point yet? What am I doing wrong to not have gotten that opportunity yet? And like I think about that. I just think about that all the time, and sometimes it can be a blessing, sometimes it can be a curse, because comparison really is the thief of joy. Like I know my stuff is somewhat decent, but I can't just enjoy my work. Like I have to. There's sometimes a little bit too much of a competitiveness about it, or I can't just like sit back and like enjoy my stuff. I have to just really like compare myself to other people, and yeah, that's definitely something that that I'm sure you try to work on too.
Yeah. Because another thing is like staying. I don't know if you know, but I love like meditating and like present moment.
Yeah, I've seen you talk about that a lot. Yeah.
So being like because the thing that I want to change from my basketball career into this podcast is that my basketball career flew by so fast because I was never in the present moment, and I was just looking after goals. So like in high school, I was like, I want to get to senior year because I want to be the big name, the big dog. And then when I was my senior year, I was like, I want to go play college. So then it was like a next step, but I never took myself and was like, bro, I get to play basketball today. Or so now like doing this, I'm like in the present moment being like, I'm with my like who would have thought I'm with my cousin who's also content creator, using his stuff, like, little stuff like that. Now I could be in the moment and remember that. Yeah. So when I'm editing, I'm like, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying editing. Right. Because if you don't enjoy it, then there's no point in pressing that record button. Yeah. You gotta take a step back sometimes and realize like, whoa, I'm really doing this. Like, how long ago did you start this? Not even a year ago, right? The day after my dad's birthday. So 25th. Okay. Like of January. Sorry, of January. So what, like a few months? Few months. Wow. Yeah. So like, yeah, bro. I mean, it's something that I have to work on too, with that whole aspect of like taking a step back and just like looking at like, wow, like I'm really doing this. Like a year ago, I never thought I'd be traveling to do sports videography and photography. I thought that would take me years. Yeah. And it happened, within months after that, a couple of months after that ASU shoot. But yeah, I'm also, as you know, I'm a big believer in God, bro. And I believe God has a big plan for me and just wants to use me in a certain way. And just with that said, man, like everything that I do, I just wanted to glorify Him, because ultimately, if I'm glorifying Him, why would He not elevate my stuff? Yeah, not in a selfish way. But, like why aren't you doing that? Because then if He doesn't, then you have another step back to be like, that's not my calling. And it's just not fulfilling to me if at the end of the day someone doesn't look at my stuff and it doesn't point to God, right? But that's just how I see it. Like, if I'm doing it for myself, it's just not fulfilling to me, bro. I love that. Yeah. I like that, because with all like the guests that I have and everyone, it's like I give them a platform to just say what you just said. Like, many people aren't going to have an hour conversation and then be like, oh, I give my stuff back to God, or this, like whatever religion you're in. Like some of my teammates were Mormons. Like, go ahead. Like that's, if Jesus was at this discussion, he would want you to talk about your religion.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm open, you know, with the whole content creator and all that. Like, you know, your faith, you know, your foundation is what your nana and my tia used to say.
Oh, 100%.
Like your foundation is where it's at. So, you know, I love when Nina Angie texts me those little things like, hey, keep doing this, or, you know, like, or sends
you the little reels.
Yeah, that sends me the reels. And I'm like, just those little things are like,
yeah,
you know, I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm grateful for, you know, just having gratitude for even recording a button. I don't know, like, it just as simple as that is what I love about doing all of this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I know it's easier kind of for me and you to comprehend, right, like the concept of God and Jesus and all that, because like we did have my nana, and she was such a crucial
role model.
Yeah, like, she really helped set that foundation for us. But man, what I was gonna say is that, like, bro, literally, like there's just nothing else that's fulfilling to me. Like, if I really, because I'm very much a person that's theological, and so I'll think about, like, I'll take a step back and think about stuff, like kind of on a deeper level, and I always ask myself, like, what's like the meaning of this? Like, why are we here? Why am I in this body? You know, why was I born into the family I was born into? Like, I just always ask why. And again, sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, but it also allows me to take a step back and realize that, like, literally nothing else matters except like doing it for God. Yeah, I mean, I can go a lot deeper on that and everything, but
now let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like,
talk your talk, man.
No, because I mean, I'm also somebody that I don't just believe something just because I believe it. Like, I have seriously questioned, why do I believe in God? Why do I believe in Jesus? What's the evidence behind it? But I mean, the evidence is just undeniable, bro. I mean, if you ask, like, what year is it, right? It's 2023. Why is it 2023? The earth is not 2023 years old.
Yeah.
It's because a man was born 2023 years ago. His name was Jesus Christ. He lived 33 years and he died. And he made such an impact that he changed the way by which we count years, so that we count every year based off of his birth. And it may be like off a couple of years, but that's just because of, like, you know, different.
Some human beings.
Just someone made a mistake or whatever. But for the most part, you know, it's 2023 because Jesus Christ lived and died 2023 years ago. But I mean, no one else has had that type of influence. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, you can argue that, like, not even Muhammad has had that type of influence. And not to trigger anybody, but that's just why I believe, like, Christianity is the true religion. No one else, like, Buddha hasn't had that influence. Like, not even, like, think of all, like, the famous philosophers from the ages, like Plato, you know, Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius, like all the.
Oh my God! Have you read that?
I haven't.
Okay, you got to read it.
I need
read
to.
It.
I have.
I was just about to say
what's the book called again?
Meditations. I have it. I have
that.
Over there.
Bro, I'm the worst because I buy books and I just keep them on the shelf and I don't read them.
All right, I'm gonna send you home with books.
But yeah, and I mean, you ask anybody who's a Christian, they'll talk about the personal miracles that they've seen happen in their life. You know, where they've seen God come through in situations where they really needed him to. And you just don't hear about that in other religions. I mean, I've really tried to look up, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you want me to talk about this in your podcast.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I've tried to look up, like, miracles in Islam, or, like, miracles in, like, Hindu or you know, stuff like that. And it just seems like every single Christian you talk to talks about a time when God really came through for them in a supernatural way that like, you just don't hear about. And but yeah, I mean, to me that's why, like, Christianity is the true religion. So which again just kind of leads me back to that whole meaning of life. What are we all doing this for? It's it's to glorify God, because at the end of the day, God is life. You know, like in the Bible, God introduces himself to Moses as I am. So if God is like God is just God
Yeah.
is like, so, you know, and humans, we just have a natural tendency to try to prosper, to try to extend our lives, to try to like increase our quality of life, right?
Our own.
So we're always chasing like a higher quality of life. And if that's the case, and like that just means we naturally have a thirst for God, because God is life. So yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm reading a book, and I don't know if it aligns with Christianity, but I love to learn, and I love
Yeah.
to get out and just like learn, because if you're not learning other stuff, then not that it like what you're believing in is wrong, but it's like I just like to learn. Like I want to learn what Buddha did. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I think it's important too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then for this book that I'm reading, it's called Becoming Supernatural. And it talks about like these energies, and like I just like to learn, because I was like, okay, because I love doing breathing techniques and like bringing back myself to the present. I don't want to have the thoughts in my head, all that stuff. So this book teaches certain meditations to get those energy out of your system, like stuff like that.
Okay,
but then
yeah.
again, because we come from that Christian background, some of that stuff is like seen as, okay, that's not God's duty, that's not, it's sinful. So I just like to. It's not like demonic or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like I like to partake in those things to just I try something new. Like it's still my foundation, but I just want to try something new.
Yeah.
So it was like, because our energies, like what we're saying, get stuck in these like bottom portions of our body, and it's like when you're feeling stress and someone calls you up to go speak in front of 20,000 people, your stomach starts to hurt. It's because like those energies are like in there.
That's very true though.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Like if you get nervous or something, there's actually a book called what is it called?
Is it How the Body Keeps Its Score?
No, it's man, The Way of the Superior Man. Have you read that?
I've heard of it. I've seen it.
I read a little bit of it, and it talks about how as a man, like for some reason, like we just all our energy is just caught up in like our core, like this whole middle section of our body, and you have to release it, bro. Like you have to and especially breathing is a big way to free yourself from having that tension. And it's also something to where if you're self-aware, it's easier to kind of release it, because you can take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, and just kind of let it go.
Yeah. So because the breathing technique that it was like I was sitting on the floor, and the part between your sexual organ and the other sexual organ, that part between it is called the perineum, which is a scientific term, like, right? So then you're supposed to tighten that up while you're breathing to like exhort that energy. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Wow. I was just like, okay. So I just like meditating, because now you're in your flow state. Like when you're editing and you're like, dang, it's been 3 hours already. Like that's your flow, because you're enjoying what you're doing, your loss of time. And I love that, because that's what I used to always happen when I was shooting. So I love doing it just on my floor, and I'm just like, bro, I can meditate for 40 minutes, an hour. And it sounds weird, like, how are you going to sit on the floor for? I mean, Jesus did it.
It just happens,
Yeah. So then stuff like that that's a very advanced, because I was like almost passing out, and he was like telling me like, breathe, hold it, because you're holding your breath and you're holding your core, and then like pretend there's a tube in the middle of your spine, and those energies are releasing to your brain, because I mean, think about it. No one knows about the brain at all, like in sports or anything.
Yeah, nobody does.
Like dementia can't get cured, like none of that. So I mean, why is that the only, like it's the at least a part amount that we know. So I mean, I just look at it as like superior.
Yeah. You know what else I just thought about right now too? This is actually this is kind of crazy. So we die, right, when we stop breathing. Like we don't, like, we have to breathe.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me, and I just recently found this out, and like I said, because I'm always doing research as to why should I believe in Christianity, why should I believe in God. I actually consider myself like the harshest critic of Christianity and just what I believe. But so and like I said, sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, but it allows me to do that deeper research that no one really else is willing to do. But it helps me kind of back up what I believe in. And what I think is crazy though is, so God he introduces himself, like I said, in the Bible to Moses as I am. A lot of times, like in Hebrew, you've heard of the name Yahweh, right?
Yeah, Yahweh.
So actually, in Hebrew, it sounds closer to Yahuwah. It's not Yahweh.
Yahoo.
Yeah, yeah, basically like
Yahoo.
Yahuwah. And if you, so God is life, right? And we die when we stop breathing. We have to breathe. So breathing basically allows us to live. If you take a look, if you pay attention to the sound that we make when we breathe, that it's kind of like saying like you know what I mean? So it's almost like God like instilled his signature in our breath. And if you think about how important breath work is, like, and you know this, you were just saying this, good breath work makes a whole difference.
Yeah.
In you being able to get into your flow state and just your quality of life. So that's something I thought was crazy. So.
No, that's insane. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Like the way it could sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, I love doing the breath works and that, and there's just some like advanced one. I can go into all of that, but the way that you're explaining that, I've never.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
It's something, bro. It's like, you know, people might think like, oh, you don't need to look into it that much, but for me, I do, because I need to make sure that I'm believing.
I'm the same way. So the part that I always argue with my parents about is that I feel like, because you know how God is so superior to everyone on this planet, like all planets, all universe, and I just feel like our worries and what we have throughout our day to day, like this guy posted this, or I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or my dog pooped, like everything that we're worried about throughout our daily life is God's not even worried about, you know? So I just felt like all Christianity all religions were intertwined in somewhat. Like, I mean, don't mark my word, but like all, because my biggest, because my biggest question to my dad, because, you know, my dad would preach sometimes. Yeah. My biggest question to him was, if I believe in heaven, that I'm going to go to heaven, what does the person who believes in Buddha do to our heaven? Like, does he get to go to heaven because of innocent? Like, he didn't know. Yeah. Or what happens, like, pretend our Christianity is just fake and just not real. Right. What do I get to go to his heaven? Like, in Buddhism, like in Hinduism and Taoism, like what happens in that instant? Because then that's the question for God. Like, he's the one that's going to be open the book of life and be like, you're not making it. Yeah. Because that's what we believe. But I always felt like it intertwined in some way, because all the teachings of every religion is technically, it's right there. It's right. I see what you mean. Yeah. It's right there. But then there's a part where people connect to their own religion, which ours is Christianity, that we're like, we're going to dive into this one. We're going to delve into this one. Right.
I see what you mean. I've thought about that a lot too, because a lot of it depends on where you were born, right? If you're born in the Middle East, you're more than likely going to be a follower of Islam. Mm-hmm. If you're born in Asia, could be Hinduism, could be Buddhism. But I mean, again, for me, it just goes back to like the miracles that you hear about. I mean,
the testimonies,
Christianity alone, man, like. And again, just the fact that no human has had the impact that Jesus Christ had, to where we literally count years based off of his life. Like, that's, to me, that's crazy. Like, not even Marcus Aurelius. Like, think about, like, even what's that one Mongolian general that killed, or like they say like a third of the population is related to, you know what I mean? Genghis Khan. His name is Genghis Khan. Yeah. Like someone like that, you would think.
Khan Academy.
Khan Academy, shout out Khan Academy, got me through school, but
that leaf.
No, like not even someone like that, bro. But Jesus Christ, born in the lowest of the lows, and then going back to even the Old Testament, there's so much evidence for everything that happened, including going back to like the Exodus, where Israelites came out of Egypt, crossed the Red Sea. I mean, there are literal chariots and stuff at the bottom of the Red Sea. How else could those have got there?
Are there really?
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. Like, even there's also evidence for like the flood, the Great Flood. There's a mountain in Turkey, exactly where the Bible says Noah's boat landed. That's where there's evidence for like a boat kind of being buried in the ground there, and if you actually look at it, it literally looks like a boat, and it's exactly the same dimensions as the boat mentioned in the Bible that Noah built. So like there's just so much evidence.
The biggest one of evidence that I saw, I think I was a junior. I think you just graduated high school. I was somewhere in high school, and it was the cloth of Jesus's face that was found, and I think they brought it back. Yeah, they brought it back to the basilica, and it like, cause that's a holy. If that's real, that's Jesus's face.
Yeah,
who died for our sins, John 3:16, and prosper. Like that's the face of a man that we all are not believing, or like just like that thought of like he was on earth.
And they've scientifically tested that too. And I think like I don't know if it was that or some other piece of, I think the towel or the cloth that was over him that they said they found that was supposedly over him when he was in the tomb. It has blood on it. And like I heard something about how they tested it, and like just something they can't figure out about the blood. It doesn't have a Y chromosome. Is that the one that you get?
I think it might be the chromosomes.
It's missing a chromosome, basically. The one that you get from a parent, because obviously Jesus, only was born of Mary, and like God, supernaturally, Jesus was supernaturally born, basically
from the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, so
that's insane. I didn't even knew that.
Yeah.
Jesus, Steve, what are you doing, bro? He's a lifetime theological videography.
I'm so much more like theological than people realize. But literally, like I said, it's only because I just want to make sure like I'm believing the right thing.
That's exactly why, because I like to read and I love to dive in. I love to ask questions like, Mom, why are you my mom? Yeah. And why did I come out of you? Like, what is that's more scientific. But like, why did God choose me to come out of you? And why did God choose you to be my mother? Is why, Yeah. And then you can spur it out. Why did Nina Angie choose to be at Estrella? Like, little things like that is like.
Speaking of her, she has so many stories that her stories alone will
I know.
prove the existence of God.
She started talking, I start floating, bro, like out of the chair. And
then just one more thing about like the whole, why I believe God is like Jesus Christ. Like one of his sayings is that I am the way, the truth, and the life, and that's because he is God. So if you follow, in the way, if you follow what the Bible says, bro, or what Jesus Christ said, and what the Bible instructs you to do, you're going to have a much higher quality of life than if you don't. And even if you're not a Christian, if you follow a lot of those rules, bro, your life is going to drastically improve. Like, just read the book of Proverbs. The Proverbs is such a wise book. It's just a book that the Bible at the end of the day is just a book that's full of just instructions on how to live a good life. I mean, it's been around it's the most scrutinized book. Actually, I mean, the Bible is the reason books exist. If you think about it, the Gutenberg press was invented to print the Bible, and and it's been around for 2,000 years, and I mean, it's the most scrutinized book that ever existed, and it's still around to this day. So that's just something else that kind of proves to me that, I mean, I really believe that Christianity is the true religion. But again, it is tricky, though, because I do have those questions, too. That's like, what does happen to Buddhists, or what does happen to, like...
Not believing in our religion,
Right. Or like...
It's a hard question to grasp.
Native American religions, too. Like, what happens to those people? I mean, my mom told me one time, she said that, like, at one point, everybody will hear about Jesus Christ. And, at the end of the day, that's up to God. But I just know that if I am presented this information and I don't accept it, then I just feel like I'm just being a disgrace to God. So,
that's a good way to put it. So to just wrap everything up, I know I have to take a turn, but what is something you wish I had asked you? And for this question, you can be as egoistic as you want. Basically, like putting yourself out there. Like, what is something that you wish I had asked you, or something you I don't know.
I don't know.
Something you want to talk about? Get off your chest. I mean, I know we just talked about a lot, but
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Do you have any questions you didn't get to ask that you kind of wanted to know? Or
I think one of them was just to get off my chest was that you're doing. No, I was gonna say you're doing good, but I don't like telling that because I mean you're older than me, but like that, what you're doing for the community of high school sports is important because I remember telling you this. I think it was at Thanksgiving, or some day,
yeah,
and you were like, "I'm recording for basketball games," and I just did a St. Mary's game, and I was like, "Bro, that's sick." Because for me, I wish I had that for people to just be around and record your games.
yeah.
Because for me, it was the popular kids. I mean, yes, you are doing the popular kids, but then there's kids that you post that I don't even know about. And so if I don't know about them, there's going to be college coaches that are going to be seeing that. So what you're doing, like you're seeing it from your lens, but what you're doing is giving those people inspiration to go out and do it.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, for my route, it was very hard because I had to go out. Like, you know how you said you had to go out? I had to go out and literally play in front of the coach at an open gym to see if I could even get a scholarship. But what you're doing for these players to be like at an AAU gym and they don't probably know you, but then you videotape them, you create that connection to even bring them farther than what they could imagine. Like, for people who are less fortunate to even get their name out there. Like, I didn't go to camps, but so I wish I had a Steven Media out there to record because there wasn't a lot back then. I mean, there was, but they were at the, if you played Shadow Mountain, there's going to be cameras.
Yeah, the big
If you
dogs,
played Brophy, there's going to be cameras. But there weren't, no one was at St. Mary's, no one was at, like, of course, winning will bring you people like you. But just to keep doing what you're doing, and like you said, God will prosper you with doing for the less fortunate of, you know, because there's going to be times where you're like, I don't want to go to a game. I don't know the high schools now, but I don't want to go to them. But then in the back of your mind, you're like, there's probably going to be a kid there that needs me.
That's a good. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I won't go to, you know, like,
I don't know if you
some
say
of the lower, like.
Yeah, I'm not saying like 3A, 2A.
Right.
But you know, just to give them a shout out,
yeah.
like.
I mean, there are a few kids that I met where maybe they don't, you know, have as big of a following, and I just mess with them. I like who they are as a person. Like there's one kid at PHH Prep. His name is James. He's just a super cool kid, man. Like, and he's a Christian too. He's just a dope person. And so I'm gonna have him do a lot of. I'm gonna have him be in a lot of my content because I didn't even mention this, bro. So I have a motivational brand called All In Motivation Co. Where I literally I post my extra footage and I just put motivational tracks over it and I put captions on it. But what I want to do is like post more Christian stuff, and we had a pretty good talk about it, and he wants to be pretty involved in it and stuff, and so yeah, go follow that too.
But just that like alone, that kid could create a future. You're creating a future for that kid.
Yeah.
Like for right now, it's basketball because he thinks basketball is life, basketball is this.
Yeah.
But one day the ball's gonna stop bouncing, and you gave him a path to be like, there's more things to do than sit behind a desk.
Right.
And now he gets.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
What
I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Anything else? Like a minute, 30 seconds?
No, I mean, I would just say, I mean, I'm not nowhere near where I want to be yet. And I'm not in a position where, you know, I can, you know, say I'm doing a lot more than I thought I could or thought I would do, but I just have, you know, so much more in my head that I feel like I can do.
Tank.
So, you know, hopefully this is being recorded before everything kind of blows up.
Yep.
But
so people could look back at it.
I just want to say, if I do blow up, and you know, I feel like God has a plan for me to have a little bit of a higher influence, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But if I don't, you know, I'm gonna trust God, bro. Like I don't care. But if I do blow up, you know, the message I would want people to take away from my journey is that just put yourself and go, like take that risk to put yourself in a position where you didn't think you could be. Like when I went to ASU and snuck into media, no one's gonna do that. But if I do blow up, man, that's gonna be a crazy story I can tell, like, to my kids and just to whoever else. Like,
Your whole
this
testimony.
really all happened because I snuck into ASU, bro, and did that recording. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
So we're going to wrap it up. And if you made it this far, thank you for listening to my cousin Steven and myself for Metamorphosis with Zachary. You can shout out all your things for once.
Shout out to myself. No, no, but yeah. So my Instagram is Steven D Media. I think I mentioned that in the beginning. But All In Motivation Co is my brand. All in _motivation co. So gonna be posting a lot more in there. I sell these wristbands actually. They say bet on yourself. The other side it says all in. So they're just kind of a cool reminder, but just a little bit of a way for me to make a difference. So yeah, those are my Instagrams. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Yeah, no problem. This Sunday, this Holy Sabbath day.
This podcast is gonna grow.
I hope so. Yeah, for what you said, I hope that. Hey, God, listen. Get me up here too. Yeah. But follow my podcast and YouTube at Zachary's _Metamorphosis. On the Instagram, the E is a 3 and the 2 O's are zeros. Zachary's _Metamorphosis. Thank you, Steven, for joining on this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something, like always. Thank you, guys. And remember to always come back to the breath.